Hey everybody, welcome to Grade Point 5. We're just gonna do shooting some shit today. Got a big old group here. Pretty much dragged everybody in we had. We're just like, get the fuck in here. I really don't know why.
Because you're a faggot.
Everybody get in here.
Yeah.
Birdman, get in here. Birdman, get in here.
He's trying to bolster the fucking chances that the show will be at half decent by he's hedging his bets and shit. Like the more
essentially,
people we get,
if I eventually get enough people in here, it won't be as terrible. At some point, we'll hit gold.
Before we get going, usual spoiler warning. We're gonna spoil a lot of shit for a lot of shit, and we're not gonna apologize. Don't like it, fuck you. Pay me.
Follow us on Patreon so we can get that fat Chapo Trap House money.
Yeah, just to let you guys know, this podcast, it costs $10 per episode for us to do.
you'd have to be something awful to not want to fucking.
Oh yeah.
Really, dude? Nigga, really?
Alright.
Dude, this is the height of what you get out of me. I don't know why I'm here. I've told you guys that multiple fucking times.
He's not even supposed to fucking be
Daryl's
here
just
today.
walking down the street. He's like, "You podcast now?" He's like, "All right."
Okay. To get into the article here we're checking out. Y'all know about the 20K threshold, right?
That's the basically the sales numbers that company wants you to reach to be able to stay in publication, essentially, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything under 20, you're up on the chopping block.
Mm-hmm.
Anything over 20, you're generally safe. Unless you're like an underground fan favorite that still gets over 20, in which case they axe you anyway.
Like how dare you have a good well-written book? You know, you're not making a movie, so fuck off.
Exactly.
Cancel you just to spite you.
Yeah.
Yep.
But let's take a look at this list. I mean, it starts out like, honestly, Captain America Sam Wilson, that surprised me.
Right. Just to contextualize before we go into it, this is a list of books that are speculated may be canceled due to the to coming in way under the threshold,
And some that are confirmed
and some
canceled.
that already, yeah, exactly. So,
And also, and we're talking about it around 30-ish titles at this point, and that's even for Marvel. That's a pretty huge number of titles that would be canceled in a short span of time. But anyway, on to the show.
yeah.
Wait,
All right.
destroy the fucking flow, guys.
Flow. We're winging this shit. Nah, go ahead, Jason.
Let's just take a few cuts off here. Captain America Sam Wilson, 18,650. I mean, that's still pretty fucking close to that line.
Yeah.
But a flagship title, like a Captain America title on there?
Well, could this be, what Marvel had discussed, in recent months, about the, low sales because of the, political climate that we're in and whatnot, and people are just kind of don't want to deal with that in their comic books and not buying? I mean, I don't know.
That would be a safe bet.
Mm-hmm.
for a good number of things in here, too.
Right.
Because not just political, but they're also the same atmosphere regarding social issues.
Mm-hmm. Or making a change to a character that nobody wanted, and they did it anyway. And guess what? When nobody wants something and nobody buys it, oh well,
or we'll bring up the one that Daryl loves to bring up. Gwenpool is on that bubble at just a hair shy of 18.
Please cancel it, please.
Yeah. And it was
Please, for the love of God.
just a dumb fucking book.
And it's Babby's first meme, the book, the comic.
The sad thing is I kind of
taken has Marvel somehow, in their brilliance, have diluted Gwen Stacy to nothing?
It's not Gwen Stacy. Her last name is actually Poole, like Poole.
Wait,
she's a character
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, she's a girl from our world, I guess, for lack of a better fucking description, who somehow gets drawn into the Marvel Comics universe, and it's as dumb as it sounds. Yeah,
she becomes a fucking meme.
This is even worse than what I thought it was.
yeah,
See,
yeah.
I would have liked if they had brought Gwen Stacy back from the dead as Gwenpool and then written everything a lot better. But like that would have been a more interesting hook than, hey, this wacky fan of our comics ended up getting sucked into a book, guys.
They essentially took the Superboy Prime.
Fucking Captain N. It's fucking Captain N.
Yeah, well, I'll say they took the Superboy Prime.
Oh yeah,
meta, and established that, but it made the person not cringy and actually insane.
It is,
and it's not so much that Gwenpool is even insane as it is that she doesn't fucking take any of this shit seriously because she thinks it's a comic book. Like, even as people are dying around her, she's like, oh, that's okay.
That's usually when that's a sign of insanity.
Well, yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, I don't know. I only read, like, the first fucking 5 or 6 issues. I don't know. So I don't know if they actually kind of worked that into the fucking, the metafiction or whatever and made it, like, is this shit all in her head? Is she some fangirl that's fucking playing out these fantasies or whatever? That would have been kind of interesting, but... I just couldn't be bothered to stick around long enough to find out.
I'm pretty sure that that's not what they did with it, though. I'm pretty sure
that's too intelligent.
I'm pretty sure it's literally we're trying to recreate the success we had with Deadpool without any of the nuance or complexity that Deadpool had behind it.
Complexity.
But yeah, check
I'm talking
this.
about original Deadpool. I'm not talking about the most recent shit.
Guys, check this shit. Another title up on that. Man Thing, written by R.L. Stine.
But then again, that's a miniseries, so
yeah. But the thing is, it's still below the threshold, and minis have been known to be cut partway through.
God, that would suck. Halfway through your series, it's like,
Oh, sorry, fam.
Got to put an X on this one.
And Man Thing is well below the bubble. It's sitting at 16,200.
Well, let's since we're moving along here, let's look at this other title that. As much as Daryl probably hates Gwenpool, this one would be one that I would want. Totally Awesome Hulk at 16.
Yeah.
At 16,009. Kill it with fire. Destroy it. Amadeus Cho was fine as a sidekick. He is not a fucking superhero.
Oh, Jesus Christ. They took Amadeus Cho and turned him into the Hulk?
Yep.
Yeah, he like took Bruce Banner's shit, or took the Hulk shit and like fucking injected it into himself because he thought he'd be able to handle it better. Some shit like that. Yeah, I don't know. Just fucking.
Nigga, now he hold my beer.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't. No.
Now,
go ahead, Jason.
I have to bring something to your attention that will probably give you the nice feeling it gave me. World of Wakanda, less than 15,000.
See, here's my feeling on this.
I thought there was an expansion for World of Warcraft, honestly.
and it would still be better in Warlords of Draenor.
Shit.
But
big zingers.
When I want something about Wakanda, it needs to be Black Panther needs to be the focus of it because in my opinion, Black Panther is Wakanda.
Yeah.
I think their whole thing is trying to make the Black Panther mini, verse of Marvel into Ta-Nehisi Coates, personal fucking playground. And I feel like World of Wakanda being under that, number kind of shows us at least a segment of the Marvel fandom feels it's unnecessary.
Exactly. Like I said, T'Challa is Wakanda. Yeah. I mean, there's no reason to have a separate book about the kingdom of Wakanda. So it'd be like, hey, we're gonna have a book about Doctor Doom. Oh, here's a World of Latveria.
Yeah, it's just fucking Senate hearings and shit all day.
What do normal Latverian citizens do? Worship Doom.
Yeah. But the World of Wakanda one's just like fucking Senate hearing. It's like fucking Star Wars Episode 1 and 2.
So you didn't enjoy those really boring parts of the prequels?
They were my favorite parts, man. As somebody watches CNN all day and all that
shit, dude.
Oh, dude, CNN. That's it. I watch C-SPAN.
Yeah. I watch local fucking public access shit where they're in the fucking courtroom all day.
Nah, man, I watch like city council meetings and shit. What are you talking
about?
Yes,
get out of here. I watch that shit. Yeah,
They're like little babies. I'm hacked directly into the CCTV system in the White House.
He's watching Trump masturbate.
All it is people walking around not knowing what they're doing.
But yeah, I mean, I can't see the market for something like that. Just
there's world building, which I'm in favor. I'm always in favor of world building,
Sure.
But it can be done in a book about Black Panther, or it doesn't have to be, or even do Wakanda royal family. Like you could do a take on I'm just spitballing here. Have somebody from the royal family. Is his sister still alive?
I think so.
Yes, have her mingle with the common folk. Not realize, oh, this is what my people go through. What the hell am I doing up in this palace?
So it's like Aladdin.
Well, yeah. I mean, even if I'm just saying, you can do things without taking away from the focus of the. It's like, do we really want to see Inhumans without the royal family? I mean, that's
hell no.
You know what's funny though, man? And I think this is. I mean, I might be mistaken, but if I'm onto something here, this might be kind of indicative of Marvel's bigger problem too. A lot of these books aren't fucking necessary for their fucking various tie-ins and shit. They're fucking.
That probably brings me to my next point. Both Rocket Raccoon and Star-Lord are sitting at, respectively, 13,373 and 12,278.
In fact, they're both, and according to the asterisks, they're already being canceled.
Yeah, Rocket is being replaced, but with a new series.
I think that a lot of the books that do sell are kind of indicative of the comic book collector mentality, where they've got an event, I have to buy all the fucking tie-ins and shit, and it's not because I want to, I have to fucking do it if I want the whole story. And I think that a lot of these books didn't fall into that, so nobody was fucking picking them up. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, sorry.
And I think that's also why Marvel's going to keep pushing the fucking events.
Now I've got a question for you guys.
Yes, sir.
Are these numbers including digital sales or just physical sales?
That is a good question.
Because I'm not really seeing anywhere that it says it explicitly.
There's not a solid indication, because I know. I think they stopped for a while, but they had to pick it back up, because wasn't there a thing where, a couple years ago, Marvel, every physical copy you bought, you would get a digital copy, and then they stopped that.
I think, something like
that. And then I think I heard recently they're going back to that because that was a dumb idea to take it away.
Right, yeah.
Real quick, though, I just want to touch back on Rocket Raccoon and Star-Lord. You want to know why those are getting canceled? I'll tell you, because without the fucking chemistry or the inner fucking character shit between all of the fucking Guardians, it's boring. It's fucking stupid. Rocket is not a strong enough character to stand on his own. Neither is Star-Lord. It's just the reason that Guardians work.
Well, Star-Lord maybe.
Well, yeah, but the way that they went about it was stupid, and that's why it's getting canceled at issue number 6 instead of issue number 10. It's you can't fucking slice up groups very well and make a good comic. It's very hard to do so. They had a lot of success with the fucking Wolverine and a couple of other X-Men and a couple of other heroes from the Avengers and stuff, and those worked because they were separate characters before they joined those teams. But fucking Guardians, I'm pretty sure, started out as the team. You can't really split people up like that.
No.
They did the opposite of the Avengers, essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, no, the Guardians characters have been around a lot longer than that. Just the team aspect of it is new.
I think we can, safely say some characters are made to be on a team, and they don't need a run, as they call it. Maybe a mini series once in a while. That's fine. Some characters are not. They just won't work. I've always said characters like I said, Beast, Gambit. Yeah. Those characters don't really need their own series. That a mini is fine, but they're better on a team.
Yeah, especially Beast and Gambit.
Gambit series back in the the 90s, late 90s, mid 90s wasn't too terrible.
It was late 90s, yeah, but you got to realize we had good writers and stuff then.
Oh yeah. if you're talking these days, I don't trust in the talent to be able to fucking sustain these characters in a fucking ongoing series.
Now I want to take a look at these last 6 right here, because these are the ones that are 10K and under. Yeah. The ones you just fucking know are going to get axed.
Or shouldn't have existed in the first place.
Right. I mean, look at this. Occupy Avengers. Did we really fucking need Hawkeye going fucking Occupy Wall Street with shit?
I like the fact that Marvel was literally 3 years detached from the Occupy movement. Like they're like, it's like, hey, great guys, Occupy Avengers is gonna be good, right, dude? Nobody's doing that anymore. What are you talking about? Get out of here. No editorial. I mean, this is. I hope. I mean, there needs to be a new editor because obviously the person who's in charge now is an idiot. Because somebody had to present him with this idea, and he's like, I like it. Let's do it.
Right.
Like, no, bad. It's not topical anymore. Smack your hand. Do this. Stop.
Now check this out. Next up, Unstoppable Wasp.
Is this Wasp as the Juggernaut?
Yeah, I didn't even know that was a fucking thing. Because Unstoppable Wasp?
It's Hank Pym and his ex-wife, not Janet, the one before. They had a daughter who was raised by an organization in Russia, not completely unlike the people who raised Natasha.
So it's got nothing to do with the Juggernaut.
No.
Fuck it. I want to see Wasp. Come on, guys, come on. Who wants to see Janet Van Dyne just like with wings, like with the Juggernaut armor, just busting through shit? Tell me that you wouldn't pay for that.
Well, dude, that'd be awesome with Pym particles. No matter how small you get, you still have the same proportionate strength and everything.
Holy shit, that'd be
She's
amazing.
like an inch high and just fucking busting buildings down.
Fucking Christ.
And they could even have it where
baby.
they could like even have it on where with the later Juggernaut series, where they had him like he was affected by the Sidorak power and stuff like that. He had to do evil, or I don't know, it wasn't really evil. He had to do destruction.
Yeah.
Or he wasn't going to keep the power. So Janet would have to she would have to just randomly destroy shit to keep going.
All right.
And the thing is, because it works real quick. It works because she's so small, you couldn't pin it on her.
Yeah, she's taking out schools and fucking convents and shit.
Oh god. After that, another comic that should never existed, Great Lakes Avengers.
You mean the meme Avengers?
Yeah, right.
They were the meme Avengers before there were memes.
Yeah.
See, I'm thinking the Great Lakes Avengers is just a story of my life living in Michigan.
It's actually more sad than that.
I didn't realize there was anything.
Is this in any? Okay, I gotta ask. What is the lineup? Because I gotta know if I'm talk shit. If I'm talking about.
Oh god, hold on.
Because I know there was one guy named Mr. Immortal, and his only power was he died. And he kept dying. He couldn't even kill himself right. That was how bad it was.
Mr. Immortal? Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Immortal. And Flatman. Poor man's Mr. Fantastic, Flatman.
Didn't Big Bertha have the power to like expand, and she had to fucking go bulimic to shrink down?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh shit. No.
Yeah.
I'm just. Why am I looking up Great Lakes Avengers?
Yeah, right.
God damn. Have I lost this much?
Fucking cunt.
Have I lost this much control over my life?
Yes.
Implying you had control in the first place, man. You're just sliding further down that fucking rabbit hole, man. Moon Girl and Devil Dino.
That sounds like it'd be a fucking manga.
Okay.
That sounds like something straight out of fucking Japan.
Yeah.
Well, it's also another gender flip,
Pretty much.
isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, because it used to be Moon Boy and Devil Dinosaur.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say it's a fucking gender swap of Moon Man.
No, it's a gender swap of Moon Knight.
Better comic.
You know the worst part though, Wayne? Moon. What was it, Moon Boy? Was a little fucking monkey dude.
Yeah.
Moon Girl is not a monkey. She's just black.
So she's still a monkey.
This is.
Hey, listen, the mulatto wit there.
We will preface this that this man does have half slave blood, so it's okay.
Dude, I was
Okay.
in my fields picking cotton yesterday, guys. So
Well, half of them wasn't, but no.
okay, let's not
answer
launch
your-
the show anymore.
To answer your earlier question, Wayne, the current lineup of the Great Lakes Avengers is Big Bertha,
Okay.
Flatman,
Okay.
Doorman,
Doorman.
yeah, Mega Man. No,
Mega Man.
A character,
Proto Man.
Crash Man, Flash Man.
a character called Good Boy.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, I gotta look into this Good Boy. What the hell does he do?
If Good Boy isn't a golden retriever with superpowers, I'm gonna be upset.
No, dude, he turns into like John Talbot.
Oh, God, he becomes a... He's a werewolf!
And weird thing is,
Like, the Avengers only sold 8K, guys.
weird thing is, Good Boy is actually a female.
What?
Are you assuming their gender?
Marvel,
Is
please.
she a Futanari? Does she grow a dick out of her fucking vagina when she turns into
You
a
know,
wolf?
and it's funny. Jason said,
Well, no, I'm not assuming her gender because it says Goodness Silva and her brother.
right. And Jason said, joked about her turning into fucking John Talbot. In this picture I'm looking, yeah, pretty close.
Oh, and I also forgot your favorite Great Lakes Avenger, Wayne, Mr. Immortal.
Yes. The guy who's, like I said, he's pathetic. I mean, let's be honest. His power is he gets killed and comes back. And he's like, oh, I'm
No,
He doesn't gain anything from it. You know, he doesn't get any, you know, like he doesn't Zenkai boost or anything like that. He just dies and comes back. I think the only thing I guess the only thing he's done right is he beat Jesus' resurrection record. That was about.
Why haven't they like strapped a suicide vest to him yet or something? No, I'm dead serious though. Like that would be an interesting use of fucking a guy who can die an infinite number of times.
Yeah, but you'd never be able to convince him that the virgins are going to be there because he'll never fucking go to heaven.
Good point.
All right, now let's get to the worst two. Literally, oh my god, these numbers. Patsy Walker, a.k.a. Hellcat, 6,943 issues. Issues sold.
Was it not? I mean, can we just not call her Hellcat anymore? We have to go Patsy Walker, also known as.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that book was a fucking response to, what was it, Jessica Jones on Netflix? Wasn't she in that?
Which is weird because they're the same company. Well, just make another Jessica Jones book, for God's sake.
Right.
Why are you
stupid,
Marvel? God!
All right, and now we get to the worst of the bunch, Mosaic, 5,876.
What is this?
Yeah.
He's a basketball American and human.
Got him.
I give up. I give up.
Okay, Daryl's done. Mulatto's dead.
No, but look, in his description on the Marvel fucking wiki, Morris Sackett was a professional basketball player who at some point encountered in the wandering carriage and miss. Oh, fuck.
Literally a basketball.
Literally a basketball American.
They had to point out that he played basketball.
Yeah.
I wasn't making this shit up.
Jordan's just like,
No, it's like, because Basketball American is fucking funny on its own, but then when I actually look at the fucking character, I'm like, God damn, Jason wasn't even trying to crack a joke. He's literally a Basketball American.
Oh, holy fuck.
the question is, did detergent mist help his free throw shot?
Yeah. The dude can dunk from, my God, I can't even finish.
I mean, he could post up with the best of them, but before detergent mist, his free throw percentage was shit.
Yeah, dude, he shot free throws like Shaquille before the detergent.
Yeah, exactly. It's like donk. Like, oh.
Oh
The only
my.
Marvel superhero who can do a chaos dunk.
But, hold on a sec, I have to say it. But, like every basketball American, his inhuman power has to deal with stealing.
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
No.
Yeah.
No.
I'm not.
Absolutely. I know you can't. You got to be lying to me. No.
Jordan?
Read me the description of this power, please.
Basic. Okay. All right. Are you sure you want to know?
I want to know. Yes.
Okay. No longer possessing a physical body, Sackett discovered he can enter into the bodies of others, assuming control and becoming something of an infiltration specialist.
Oh
The
dear
nigga
God, he is a
steals
thief.
people's bodies.
Ruin their bodies so he can steal more shit.
Nobody's gonna suspect a fucking white person stealing these pearls. Fuck y'all niggas. Fucking Christ.
It's almost as good as New Iron Man, where she stole all of her shit to make her new suit.
And if you think about it too, this character's power is essentially a fucking form of rape. So, like, I mean, entering people's bodies forcibly without their fucking consent.
And the worst part is,
Marvel, you're so progressive.
It's just a black dead man.
Yeah,
literally.
pretty much.
That's all it is.
Yeah. We skipped one, by the way, guys.
Oh, really?
Morel Girl.
Oh.
I think we did that was on purpose because we want to try to pretend it doesn't exist.
Well, Jason said we're doing the bottom 6.
Yeah,
And then
Girl.
But I gotta say we skipped because I want to talk about this one.
Yeah.
Well, okay, then talk, nigga.
Why does it exist?
Because memes, my dude.
Dude, you know when they took a character, I fucking loved the fact that she took on Thanos and shit. I loved that. She's a fucking nondescript fucking character who's like Jessica Jones is a fucking Luke Cage's fucking nanny and shit, but she once took down Thanos. And shit.
There was I remember there was a I believe it was a Great Lakes Deadpool crossover, and they had this whole thing where she needed to get a teleportation device, so she goes to Latveria, just walks into Doom's castle, and he goes, "Oh, it's you. Get what you want to get out." Because she also fucked him up at one point too. So that was cool.
Now, can we also bring up the point that Squirrel Girl may have banged Wolverine?
This is yeah.
Well,
Damn,
you know,
that is one
pre this comic book, I probably would have thrown it in her too.
Yeah, but then they decided that, hey, let's make Tumblr the comic.
Exactly. Let's blow her up to fucking 900 pounds and fucking
give her the buck teeth and ugly
Tumblr nose and shit.
Yep.
Oh,
they literally made Steven Universe in Marvel, and
her run in what was it, New Avengers? That was good.
Yeah, that was when she was Luke and
yeah,
that was when she was the babysitter. Yeah,
but she was also still able to function as a superhero.
Yeah.
Why can't we have that? Why do we have to have Tumblr?
Can I ask you guys a question real quick? Do you think that all of these comics have failed because all of Marvel's good writing talent has been moved to their TV and movie departments? Or is it because people have quit?
No.
Well, to be fair, I think Jeff Loeb's on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. still in some capacity, and that dude did some fucking ridiculous shit with the Ultimate Universe.
And let's not forget the Red Hulk series.
Oh yeah.
No, I will say it. I think there's still enough talent in the comics writing pool to go around.
Well, one of the things, if you remember when we've talked about it before, the summit they had when they said, as of 2018, they're going pretty much back to basics.
Yeah.
One of the things they talked about is getting, some indie talent into Marvel, and a lot that's code for get the guys back that we let go because we're idiots. Yeah. So it's basically saying let's get some of the old guard back to try to fix our shit because we done fucked up too much. But really, okay, let's spell this out real quick. 30 titles. 30. Why is Marvel putting out... so that means Marvel's putting out more than 30, obviously.
Yeah.
But they're putting out enough that 30 could get canceled.
Right.
Put that in your mind for a second. They're literally created so much crap that they can drop 30.
Well, it's funny.
And I thought it was ridiculous. One quick. I thought it was ridiculous, and DC did 52.
Right.
When they did New 52 and they came out with 52 new comics, I'm like, no, that's too much. What are you doing?
Right. And this is Marvel, being able to fucking cut out the metastasized fucking tumor and shit of, in the form of 30 fucking comic books, and apparently still have enough on the fucking shelves to be like, ain't nothing.
Yeah, so I wonder what their total. What is their total publication numbers? I mean, Jesus Christ.
Well, the thing that I think is most hilarious about this is that these are 30 that might be dropped. At least 11 of them are already fucking confirmed to being dropped.
Right.
Like nigga, why?
Yeah. It's like, I'll be honest. I don't see. We probably won't see Sam Wilson getting canceled anytime soon.
Well, we might, because the recent developments in the comic led to him dropping the shield and fucking taking up the Falcon persona again.
Well, then that's probably that gives them an out then. So
exactly, yeah.
So you're saying what you're telling me is that Sam Wilson as the Falcon could stand on his own and does not need the Captain America persona to be.
Yeah, he never fucking did.
Huh. That's interesting. Yeah. It's just saying. No.
Almost like he didn't need to be Captain America or something.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, now that we've run rampant over half of Marvel's line, Marvel, I'm going to say, on top of those ones that have been confirmed canceled, I want to see at least a dozen of these gone. They're unneeded. They're taking up money that should be investing in good talent.
I agree.
How do you guys feel about Miss Marvel there at the bottom on the fence there? For the,
you know what, man? Out of all of these, I enjoyed that one the most. And, whatever.
I'll put it this way.
I still don't care.
Well, that was the one, and like I said, and I don't know exactly how it happened, but we all know Captain Marvel is Carol Danvers, right? She was Miss Marvel. Mm-hmm. The fact that Carol stepped up to be Captain Marvel, and then a new Miss Marvel came along.
Right. It was.
You did it right.
An organic thing.
You did it right. You did it good. And then that is like a good way to do it. That was it's like, you took one character, stepped them up to their what they probably should have been for a while. But the reason was if you looked at the Carol Danvers publication history, she had her demons and stuff, so it's some things she had to overcome before really to become Captain. It was kind of like an earn it type of thing, I guess. But and then and then you got Thor. and Captain America,
Thor in particular.
Yeah, and Iron Man, it is just get this.
I will say, I have to say it, Doom as Iron Man has been winning me over.
But you got to remember, that's not the one they wanted you to care about.
I don't care.
It was Riri Williams with her fucking name that actually offends me as a fucking retard. Okay? I mean, I find offense. Oh God, Marvel.
What's really
even
hilarious
when you're trying to be progressive, you just. Fucking...
What's really hilarious to me is they go through this thing of saying, calling her Iron Man.
Yeah,
and then giving her a real superior name like Ironheart, which I'm like, okay, why did you do that in the first fucking place? Oh, because all you care about is the name. You don't care about the character.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's be honest here.
If you can kind of organically work Miles Morales into the whole Spider-Verse that you're building with all the various characters and shit, you can do the same with Riri. You have her as part of the fucking Iron Man family, not Iron Man.
Yeah.
I still can't believe that's her fucking name.
Yeah. Right?
Somebody got the hey, what should we name this black kid? Riri. Love it.
Dude, I just
the worst part is if she'd been a guy, her name would have been Ray Ray.
Right. This is the worst fucking naming since fucking somebody named Nova Richard Rider. Okay.
I have a theory though.
Yeah.
I think at least one of the people who work at Marvel, maybe the fucking editor, is seeing all the shit that's going down. And you know what we're gonna do? I'm gonna burn this fucking company from the inside out. You want to name this black character Riri Williams? Fuck it, we'll do it. You want to do this stupid bullshit that makes no fucking sense? It's gonna make all of our long-term readers hate our company. Fuck it, do it.
So what you're saying is, he actually loves comics and he loves Marvel, but he's doing this to teach them a lesson.
Yes, he's gonna break their back and make them humble.
Dude, it's scorched earth. Burn it and have to regrow.
Yeah.
And if that were the actual policy, that would make sense, but I just don't think they're smart.
Yeah, honestly,
smart enough to do that.
In all reality, this is pretty obviously the work of somebody who saw that fucking market, thought they would tap into it, and didn't have any fucking clue how to do it.
It was the ham, I mean, if you read in the comment section, which is something I love to do.
Yeah, right.
Most of the people are commenting it was because of the forced diversity.
Yeah.
It's like Jason and I have been comic fans. For me, the early '90s, probably about the same for him.
Yeah, and
you, Daryl. Yeah. When you can make a new character interesting and awesome, we get behind that, right?
Yeah, regardless of gender, race, religion, sexuality.
Honestly, when I bought my first one of my first issues of X-Men, you know what character debuted? Bishop.
Fucking yeah.
I mean, and like I was like, this guy's cool. I didn't care if he was black. I said, this guy's awesome. You know,
Yeah,
he just comes in. He's like, I'm you fuck you and kill you.
remember Giant Size X-Men #1. Fucking, you got Warpath. You got all those other fucking characters whose names I can't forget because I hate diversity, and it wasn't forced.
Yeah.
Like
I was gonna say, I was like, it's like, oh, there's not enough diversity in comics. I was like, well, somebody should tell like the black lady in X-Men and the
and the Jews been fighting the X-Men for the last fucking 70 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Then the Jew on the X-Men.
Yeah. Yeah. Forge, a Native American dude.
Yeah.
Fucking Storm, black.
At the time, was it God, what's his name? Japanese guy.
Sunfire.
Yoshida.
Sunfire. Yeah, Sunfire.
I couldn't remember his fucking character name.
You even got your, you got your Russian diversity in there with Colossus. You had a, which I find funny because originally, when they put Wolverine on the team, they originally were going to kill him off.
Kill Wolverine off?
Yeah, that was like, I read that years later. Who was it that the idea was like to kill him off, and like in like that first when they killed off on Thunderbird. Mm-hmm. They were going to kill off Wolverine instead, and like fucking God, who was the artist at the time? Artist.
Was it Chris Claremont?
No, it wasn't Claremont.
Or writer, I mean.
It was the guy who also did Man of Steel.
Byrne?
Yeah. John Byrne said because he's Canadian. He said if you kill off the only Canadian, I'm out. And that's how they kept Wolverine. He literally said, if you kill the only Canadian, I'm out.
That was back when people gave a shit about what Byrne had to say.
Yeah.
But no, it's just...
Then he did Spider-Man Blue, and it was all over.
We don't care about
it did,
diversity.
too. The name was perfectly descriptive.
Yeah. Go ahead.
It's just, we don't care about diversity. We don't care if they're black, white, whatever the fuck, like fucking...
Yeah. If they're
Doom
good and
is
they're
a race
interesting.
that doesn't even fucking exist. He's Latvian. Like, it's a fucking fake place, and we love the shit out of him.
That's not
diverse.
That's not a race, but
A country,
Right. But
right.
The thing that's interesting for me, being the token minority of this current group of people talking, is but I'm actually going somewhere with here.
Yeah.
Do you know how old I was when I realized that diversity in comics was an issue that we needed to tackle? Apparently, fucking like 22. I've been reading comics since I've been fucking 10, and I'm like, oh, there's a black lady in the X-Men. Oh, there's a bunch of white people. Oh, but there's men and women and all this other shit. Like, it's never been a fucking issue. It didn't become a fucking issue until you decided to make it one.
Well, and for some people, it only is an issue in the first place because they are so shallow and so superficial that they cannot identify with anyone or anything unless it reflects them to a fucking T.
May I tell a quick story? Because it reminded me of something that happened.
Sure.
This is what you described, Daryl. This encapsulates this little story. This was a movie. It was a Clint Eastwood directed movie. He wasn't a star. He was directing it. Mm-hmm. And there was a scene with the guy, and it was like he had to. The scene was like because it was like the angled up because it was an angled up scene where it was like on the second floor, and he was going to go get the mail from his like landlady, right? And so Clint Eastwood, the camera was positioned on the ground, and they're looking up. And getting the scene, and all she was, he asked her a question, and she would say like, no new messages today or something like that, right? Mm-hmm. And when he goes, he says, was there anything else? And she, gets overly dramatic about it, like, oh no, there was nothing today, and then just like going on, and all of a sudden you hear that's enough of that shit. That was Clint Eastwood, who is this time is like in his 80s. Goes up 2 flights of stairs, and these are big, fucking flights of stairs. He goes up to the lady, he goes to the actress and says, "Lady, I don't have to tell you how much this movie is not about you." And then he said, "If I could hire your goddamn hand, I would do it."
Yep.
And then he walked back down, and he said, "All right, go." But that perfectly encapsulates. People think I have to be the center of attention. No, fucker, you do not have to be the center of attention. You're on this, this wheel of cheese like the rest of us, It's like, if you do something that makes you stand out, great. If you don't, sorry.
Right.
That's life.
But the proper reaction to people who fucking like their complete fucking identity is based around, say, their sexuality or their skin color or anything, like the proper reaction to them is just to say, fuck you, man, because you know what? These characters have been fucking deep, and there are traits to fucking admire in them beyond their skin color or who they fuck between panels and shit. Like, right. You fucking, if you cannot connect with these characters, and of course some people would come at me and say, well, you've never had to worry about diversity, assuming that, you know, I'm white and shit, you know, which, okay, let's just say for the or for the sake of discussion, oh, by the way, Jordan, I am black. No, but no, I mean, even with that being the case, it's never been an issue to me because I don't look at the character's surface qualities to fucking reflect mine.
Right.
Yeah. Because, like, I admired Captain America growing up because of the fucking patriotism and the heroism.
And the ideals.
And the idea. Yes, exactly. Like, what he represented fucking resonated with me. And it wasn't the color of his skin or anything that I cared about, you know? It was who he was as a character. Mm-hmm. And Spider-Man also spoke to me as a nerd and kind of like somebody who's got a lot of fucking shit on his shoulders and stuff. Mm-hmm. That's what appealed to me. His fucking skin color didn't matter. His sexuality didn't matter. Like, none of that mattered because, like, the truth of the character, the fucking deeper meaning of the character, fucking resonated with me. And so my fucking shit, what I would say, my reaction to somebody who creates would be, fuck off. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Because you don't alienate the people who fucking kept you afloat for some 70-odd fucking years just to appease a group of people who are so fucking shallow and so fucking self-loathing or whatever the fuck it is that they cannot fucking find anything meaningful to connect with in other people or things or whatever. You know?
And point out they won't buy it anyway.
And they're
yeah, I was just about to say that.
yeah. You can ignore my fucking the last 10 minutes of what I said and just focus on that. Like, they're not going to buy it anyway.
Yeah, because comic book fans are comic book fans are comic book fans, right?
Yeah.
There have been many times when I've said, I'm not going to read comics anymore. I'm done. You know, this is stupid, and I'll just go back and read it again. You know, it's like. This is probably as close as I've, you know, like the longest drought I've had without reading anything from Marvel. Marvel was my absolute favorite company. I mean, DC was good. I'm not saying it wasn't, you know, but I loved Marvel Comics. You know, I loved it. You know, I could just drink it all in. I mean,
Wayne, would you say that you marveled at them?
Yes. I'm
okay, Dad.
Glad you went there. You know, and this dad joke was brought to you by. But no.
Well, it wasn't me this time.
I know, but one of the youngest guys here did a dad joke.
That's right.
No, but anyway.
I mean, I am black, of course.
By the way, Wayne, happy belated birthday. or am I early?
My birthday's next month. What's going on?
I thought you were April, man.
No, my birthday's in June.
That's right. I'm the one who's older.
You're the one that's older, yeah.
Dude, it's a function of my encroaching Alzheimer's, dude.
But back to my point about the Marvel.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it appealed to me. I mean, this was like, you know, the early 90s. You know, you had good art. Liefeld aside.
Boy, fuck you. Liefeld is fucking life, man.
Liefeld is a beautiful man.
He was relegated to X-Force, so it was all right.
But you know, I mean, you know, had good artists at the time. This is, you know, the times of McFarland, Jim Lee, you know, those guys. Good writers, you know. I mean, yeah, a lot of it consisted of yelling at each other in comics, but still, it was, you know, to me, it was like fantastic. You know? But
it kind of evolved from the Claremont fucking over exposition and shit like that.
Right. It got a more action oriented, like get to the point thing.
Right.
Which was fine. You know, it was a good time to come in, and it made me appreciate the other stuff, you know, the older stuff later on, you know.
Absolutely.
That's what, you know, it made me want to start buying back issues and things like that. You know, but like I said, nothing about what's going on in Marvel right now appeals to me. Like, I've been reading little articles about, you know, like Secret Empire, and when that, you know, because one of the things they said, they couldn't stop Secret Empire because they're too deep in it. Reading what's going on, no, y'all should have just, you know, put a bullet to it and just started right then, you know,
right?
You know, because this is absolutely horrible, and you need to end it now, you know,
right? You telling me you couldn't fucking put a natural stop to that shit back when fucking Cap revealed he was Hydra and nobody liked it? Yeah. Like, that was months ago and shit. Like, you could have fucking found a natural way to fucking get out of that.
It's almost like Marvel, and DC's been guilty of it too, but Marvel, they've been kind of guilty of it. They take like the quote hot writer and they give him too much latitude. Him, her, whatever, and they give them too much latitude, and then they end up doing something stupid. And Grant Morrison is a good example. It's like, hey, let's give him total control of the X-Men. What are you doing?
Yeah, wasn't he the one that came up with Zorn as Magneto?
Uh-huh.
Which they went back and fucking retcon, so there's actually a Zorn now.
Yeah, aren't there several Zorn actually?
Yeah.
That was the black leather top period, and and edgy edge stuff going on.
The black leather kind of owed itself to the X-Men movies in part, I think.
Yeah. Which, by the way, that's something I didn't get into last week. I just had to mention briefly. I want to thank Marvel Films and all them for proving that like bright colors can exist on the big screen. Fuck you, Bryan Singer.
Yeah.
But anyway,
fuck yeah.
But I just had to mention that. But anyway, that's what I'm saying. Like somebody like what's his name, Nick Spencer, the guy doing the Secret Empire, and he's been given too much latitude. There, somebody has not told him no, and that's the problem. And that's been a lot, like I said, I understand when your writer's hot, stuff like that, but sometimes not a good idea to give them, complete control. Jeff Johns is another example in DC, it probably wasn't a good idea to give him control of the relaunch of New 52, because then you get stupid ideas on top, you might get some great ideas, but then you get dumb ideas,
Right, and not to mention, on top of letting their writers run wild, we have these endless events and stuff. Like, for me growing up, these events meant something because they were so few and far between by comparison to...
It was like maybe a year and a half to 2 years between events,
But now you see... Well, and I saw this shit coming in the mid-90s. We had Age of Apocalypse immediately followed by the whole Onslaught saga, which then itself launched Heroes Reborn and shit. Mm-hmm. So, that was kind of the start of it for me. But even after that, though, it kind of calmed down. And even within the context of that story, it felt like it all made sense. You know what I'm saying? It was all in the service of a larger story. But now you get just one event after the other, and they all fucking lean into each other and shit. We like World War Hulk, Planet Hulk into World War Hulk into this and that and the other, and it just,
Well, you could take that back. You would go Avengers Disassembled into Civil War into Planet Hulk into World War Hulk into you could just It just became a continue. And like I said, continuity is fine. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but there needs to be some cool down time too.
Yeah, what happened to the days when we could pick up a book and read a fucking self-contained story with those characters?
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like think about some of the events that the X-Men used to have back in the day. This is pre Age of Apocalypse and things like that. Mm-hmm. Executioner's Song, the Extinction Agenda, the God Love Man's Kills story,
Inferno.
Inferno.
I loved Inferno, man.
Yeah, Dark Phoenix Saga. That was those were great stories, but they had spaces in between. There had to be time for the characters to recover.
Right.
I mean, I remember it was after the Dark Phoenix Saga, Scott left the team. Mm-hmm. He's like, I'm done. I can't do it anymore. The love of my life is gone.
And then we didn't get 15 books launched the next month featuring the fucking Adventures of Cyclops and shit.
Exactly. It was, what they would do is they would tell part of the story from what was going on with at the X-Men mansion, and part of the story what's going on with Cyclops. And then the next month they might dedicate the whole book to Cyclops.
Right.
You could do it without having, like you said, 30 different relaunches, and stuff like that. They didn't have to relaunch a book every time a big event happened. That's what I always loved about what's happened in recent years. This is the end of the Avengers as we know it. Next month in Avengers #1.
Yeah. And even Spider-Man, one of my favorite characters behind Captain America got that treatment, with all the
Spider-Man is dead. Yeah. Next month, who's the new Spider-Man? Turns out it's Peter Parker.
Yeah. I just I don't want to have to buy fucking $600 worth of comics to follow a storyline that I'm not even really particularly interested in to begin with.
Right.
I would love to see. I get that the events drive sales because there are those of us out there who will do that. They will go and pick up every fucking book in a fucking run, regardless of whether or not they want it, because it fucking tells the story instead of waiting for the fucking trades.
Yeah.
And that's why they keep fucking doing it. because I guess the market just isn't there now as much as it was back in the mid 90s, or whatever, where they can tell these fucking, self-contained stories. Like, I guess that's the thinking, maybe.
Well, here's a good. Let me read this little comment here, which I think is excellent. And it basically says, "Sorry about Gwenpool. That was a pretty funny concept, but the rest is honestly rather forced. There is a limit on how varied the superhero genre can become, and with all respect to the fantastic minds behind the comics, I'm doing a wanking motion on that one. It becomes very alike in the end. So you'll naturally just stick to a handful of favorites."
Yeah, it's all homogenous.
Yeah, it's like eventually, like when they all become the same, then what's the point of like buying XYZ when you get it with 1, 2, 3? You know,
right? Mm-hmm.
So
because if you don't buy all of them, that means that you're fucking racist.
And that's the thing that Marvel needs to learn, and DC has learned. You can't just publish superhero comics,
right?
It's such a small little corner you're painting yourself into.
Mm-hmm.
When comics as a medium can go to far greater places. I mean, look at Dark Horse. You had Vertigo for DC.
Yep.
These people don't give a shit. If you can think it, they will put it out there.
Didn't Marvel try to do the Edge line for a while there that didn't really go anywhere?
That's the one where they had like the Alice
Punisher
Cooper.
Max, the Max line.
The Max line.
Yeah. Edge was kind of the precursor to that, I think, but the Max line was meant to be more adult-oriented stories and shit like that.
Yeah, but even that was still kind of just really, when you get down to it, superhero stories.
Yeah, but then you look at when Marvel does kind of venture out of their comfort zone, like they do shit like fucking reveal, or at least heavily implied, that Aunt May might actually be Peter's real mom in that fucking what was it? Not Spider-Man Loves Mary Jane. That wasn't too terrible, but it was another one. It was like it was about May and her sister and fucking Peter's dad and shit and all that shit, like when they were teens, and it was heavily implied that like fucking May had to give up her kid and shit. Like, that's the kind of bullshit you get, and it's still even set within that framework of the fucking superhero universe. They're not stories that build, Yeah.
So what you're saying is, instead of being Aunt May, she'd be Aunt Ma?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, god damn it.
And Spider-Man come in, she'd be Aunt MILF.
I think some people also need to realize, like 1986 called that the deconstruction of the superhero is over.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, no, we don't need, not every character, like Spider-Man, like I said, that dude's got enough, Peter Parker's got enough on his plate. He don't need to worry about that his Aunt May might be his mother, his real mother. He don't need that shit.
And he'll never know.
Like, and some people, but still, even the idea that it's out there, no. That, leave some things wholesome.
Right.
Not everything has to be wholesome. I'm not, not a prude or anything, but some things just leave it as it is. It doesn't need to be changed.
Well, that was like when they introduced the revelation that like Gwen had fucked Norman Osborn.
Oh God!
Like, why sully the character that way? It's a beloved character. And it's just to be edgy.
It's
kind
still
of the reason why I don't like that new Riverdale show. It's the same concept, taking these established characters and fucking turning them on their ear for the sake of it.
Yeah, it was funny. That was playing one night. I was like with my mom. I was talking to her or something, and that commercial came on for for that show. Yeah, and I was like, oh. And she said, "What is it?" I said, "I think some part of me died."
And I could actually, like the Afterlife with Archie comic was fucking fantastic. It was, a really effective mashup of, the Archie universe and The Walking Dead. And they did, play with like the characters a little bit within that framework, like the Blossoms having kind of a incestuous relationship and stuff like that. And that was effective because I think it had a little bit more reverence for the characters and shit. Riverdale, it's literally like
they took the
name only. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And when the thrust of your show, or the foundation upon which it's built, is the idea that, hey, these really wholesome characters that you read Archie Digest from your childhood, they're all horrible fucking pieces of shit.
Yeah.
And I can't get behind that. Just like you said, the deconstruction for the sake of it. But yeah, Marvel, Jason's right. They don't venture out of their comfort zone too often.
Yeah, they how did I put it the other day? I was talking to somebody else. Oh, okay. We pretty much know that DC does have what we call legacy characters, right?
Sure.
There have been other Green Lanterns. There have been other Flashes. That kind of thing. Than what we currently have. At some point, Marvel also tried to make legacy characters out of characters that are not legacy characters.
Huh?
You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'll put it this way: when Steve Rogers dies, Captain America should die with him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There should be no other Captain America. That is not there was only one man who ever instilled the ideals of a patriotism into one person, and that was Steve Rogers.
Right.
And so when he dies, that should be the end of his the end of Captain America.
Right.
The Iron Man thing's been done, but I still think Tony Stark is the Iron Man.
Yeah.
So.
It's one of those things that for a lot of Marvel characters, it doesn't have the same sort of thing that like DC has with the Green Lantern. Like anybody, as long as they're chosen by the fucking ring, can be a Green Lantern. There's no specific archetype for the Green Lantern. However, you see an Iron Man, that character has to be like fucking Tony Stark. Tony Stark is the fucking archetype of what Iron Man is supposed to act like as a person and as a hero.
Right.
That's why, when you do this bullshit with fucking Riri, it doesn't fucking work, because that's not fucking Iron Man or Ironheart. They should have fucking gone Iron Maiden, go the better fucking UK metal band, but that's neither here or fucking there. But still, like, these characters are not just fucking titles that you can give to any jackass character that comes across.
Right.
If you are going to make them legacy, you have to make those characters earn it. They have to be in some way like the person who the name is meant for.
And in Riri's case, it was just, she's really smart. That's the quality. Yeah. They distilled fucking Tony Stark down to that one quality, as if that's ever been the only thing about him.
I mean, they didn't even take as we know, the movie stuff is always the condensed version of what the characters are,
Yeah.
Right.
They even take that, because what is Tony Stark? Tony Stark is a futurist who is looking beyond what is in front of him and wants to be, ahead of the game, essentially.
Right.
Yeah. That's Tony Stark. The Iron Man suit is a means to an end, not a way of life for Tony Stark.
Yeah.
And that was the whole point. They just, like you said, they took away all that. It's like, Tony Stark smart. Tony Stark make armor. Girl smart. Girl also make armor. Make comic book good.
Yeah. And see, that's one thing I really dug about Iron Man 2 when he's in the Senate, and he essentially says, the Iron Man suit is me and I am it, we kind of go to, hand in hand.
Yeah, we are a package deal, yeah.
Exactly. And you don't get the suit without me and shit like that. And that's the thing. And they are kind of playing him as a futurist in the movies too, like everything, like Ultron was the result of his,
he went, his hubris went too far, essentially.
Right. And it wasn't even hubris as much as it was like, well, I suppose it was, yeah, because he thought it was his sole responsibility to fucking defend the world, and
like he saw, the whole thing, because they played on an Iron Man 3 and stuff, from the Avengers, the first one, is that he looked into the abyss and did not like what he saw back.
Exactly.
Yeah, and he was going to stop it no matter what, and that meant his whole point was like, I have to make the Avengers obsolete.
Right, exactly. And he said,
I cannot put anybody's lives in danger.
Words.
Yeah, I cannot put people's lives in danger. If I can make technology that can do this for us, then let me do that.
Right. When talking about Ultron, he says, wasn't that the plan? Wasn't that idea? To do it so, to protect the world so we can go home, so we don't have to,
Right.
And so every decision he's made over the course of those movies has been, for pretty much that reason, I
mean, even in the Civil War movie, it's all about, you remember, even from the trailer, he said we have to be reined in. He thought we got too much power.
Yeah, exactly.
He said when we accidentally create villains that can hover cities above the earth, and then drop them down, that's not a good thing, Looking at it from his perspective, of course,
So you take all these complexities, that are introduced over the comics, in the comics over the course of, 50, 60, 70 years, and then in the movies, similar fucking traits, and then you distill it down to, like you said,
one trait,
smart,
just one thing.
Smart. Yeah. That is the problem a lot of people had. And the thing with Thor, And my problem with that in particular is, especially after they revealed the words that made him unworthy, was just like, oh, God damn it.
They revealed it? What was it? I never knew. What is it?
Gore was right.
Yes, exactly. It's a fucking ex-villain was right when he said that you guys weren't heroes, and that made Thor unworthy.
That's stupid.
Really?
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
Something a villain said that gets whispered in Thor's ear.
Gore specifically said none of the gods are gods.
Yeah. And mind you, this is coming secondhand from Nick Fury, by the way. So Nick Fury is giving his opinion and say, in my opinion, so was right about you, therefore you're unworthy.
Did Marvel? Wait a minute, hold on.
That's like somebody fucking folding to Twitter fucking opinions.
Yeah. Did somebody at this point in time? Did people forget that there was an Odin? that he's the one that decided who the hammer could get used by. Really, I mean, when you get down to it, I mean, yes, there. I remember when they had Justice League versus Avengers crossover, right? And at one point, like because Captain America gave Superman his shield because they wanted Cap to be the general. He had to tell everybody what to do. So Superman was going to be on the front lines, and so he said, "Here, take my shield." And then at one point, he picks the hammer up and he can pick it up. And Thor is still around. He's still fighting. He said, I see my father has found you worthy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's kind of, that it's really not Thor's decision.
Right.
Because how many times has Odin just fucked with Thor? It's like, you can't pick it up, you dumb shit.
And I just find it hilarious that basically a secondhand fucking opinion is what did it.
I mean, look at and then on top of that, look at was it when Beta Ray Bill picked up the hammer? Beta Ray Bill is basically an android at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, how is he worthy? No, he was worthy because Odin thought it would be funny. He said, "Oh, my son's being a jackass, so I'm going to give this guy the hammer." So,
and that is the one again. That's distilling it down to one quality, or showing a fucking huge misunderstanding of the character's qualities and shit.
Right.
Because when that secondhand opinion can make Thor worthy, and in total ignorance of everything that's come before, that's just fucking bad writing by people who don't understand the characters, and that's what people took issue with. It wasn't necessarily that they replaced it with Lady Thor. It was the fucking circumstances surrounding that and shit. And that's what Marvel doesn't realize. It's like they're trying to force this diversity by distilling the characters down to fucking insignificant surface traits or whatever, and then creating characters, or using that to justify creating these characters in their place.
I think one of the big problems that we have here right now is Marvel's afraid to try anything new because they've already been bleeding money for quite a while and they really don't want to fuck up. And so they're trying to recycle their old fucking people and attract a new audience because they know that they can't make anything good again.
Well, the fucked up thing about that, though,
fucking Infamous Iron Man looks dope as fuck. I haven't been able to find somewhere to read it other than Comixology, so I may drop $4 to go read it, but it looks interesting. I like fucking Doom's new design.
Josh, the thing that's so fucked up about that, though, is Marvel, at least on the cinematic side, is adhering very close to the fucking, at least the spirit of these characters and shit, like the classic versions of these characters.
Yeah,
and then over on the comics side, where they hope to fucking draw in new readers, they're taking a dump.
Yeah, and that's why I said earlier, I think all their good writing talent's been shifted over to Marvel Studios, and fucking they're doing all that shit over there. Because
I think literally, like, Kevin Feige's the only intermediary between the fucking studios. I don't think any of the writers are over there.
Yeah,
They
had like a couple of guys who oversaw some things, but
consultants and shit.
Yeah, but basically they're the guys who's saying, like, in the movie and big surprise, these are older guys, that've been in their industry for a long time. They'll be the first one to smack your hand. No, that character would not do that.
Right.
Because the whole thing, little things like, when I talk about the worthiness of the hammer and things like that. We saw, in Avengers 2 where, Cap slightly moved the hammer. And even Thor was surprised, like, oh shit, we all know that's going to fucking lead to a scene if the hammer, whatever happens with the hammer in, Thor Ragnarok. We're going to see a scene in Infinity War where Cap's going to pick the fucking hammer up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And he's going to lay one on Thanos with the fucking hammer because it's going to happen. That's what that whole thing's a tease because we fucking know Steve Rogers is worthy to pick up that goddamn hammer. You know,
Right.
So
if fucking Hydra Cap is still worthy because all his core values remain intact, even though he's using them for evil, then yeah, the cinematic version,
yeah,
just fine. Oh god damn it.
oh yeah, is that what I heard? They said like he's worthy in his like in his own mind, so he's worthy to pick up the hammer. It's like,
well, no, what they're saying is his core values, like his fucking, you know, patriotism, I guess. You know, even though it's for the benefit of Hydra and his heroism and all that shit, just because he's using it for Hydra, those core values still remain, and those core values are what made him worthy. So he's still worthy.
shit.
So it's basically Odin just taking a shit on stuff. He's just like, fuck it, this will be funny.
Yeah, because my thing is, as soon as that happened, I mean, if Thor got killed or something like that, and like Cap was the reason he did it, Odin's shutting that shit down right then. He might not get directly involved, but that fucking hammer is not moving.
Right.
It would take. The cosmic deities of themselves would not be able to move that shit because fucking Odin would sit on it. I mean, literally, like, no,
Fuck you.
nope.
Dude, and we're talking about a version of Cap who already fucking had Rick Jones fucking shot in front of a firing squad, you know, or shot by a firing squad, you know, like
aerated the back of the skull. Yeah,
yeah, like, oh god, wow. I think they need to bring some of the people over from the movie side to fucking write books at this point, you know, because
just make the comics fucking tie-ins to the movies at this point.
that's what they tried to do to no success whatsoever. But
yeah.
Now here's the question I gotta pose: how do you think they're inevitably gonna bring Rick Jones back?
Rick Jones,
the Cosmic Cube's going to come back in somehow.
See, that's the Deus Ex Machina of this whole thing. That that Cosmic Cube is going to be the key to this. You know, being all, it's okay now, guys. You know.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I think we could say, this ain't the first time Rick Jones has died. So they'll that guy's kind of like Jimmy Olsen. He's like, we'll bring him back. Got him. Yeah. I mean, hasn't Rick Jones several times been like different heroes too? He's like, wasn't he a nomad at one point? And he was a Hulk at one point, and he was A-Bomb?
Yeah, and then worked with Marvel.
Yeah, so he's kind of like I said, he's almost exactly like Jimmy Olsen, except Jimmy Olsen never diversified. He just stuck with Superman, whereas Rick Jones like, hanging out with the Hulk. It's kind of dangerous. I'm going to go chill with Captain America.
Oh, man. Yeah.
So, yeah, they'll be, even if they don't use the Cosmic Cube, they'll figure out a way to bring, or, hey, it was a clone.
Oh, God.
Fuck
Probably
you.
Like that.
There's one book that I've been hearing some good things about, man. The new incarnation of fucking Scarlet Spider. Ben Reilly's got some pretty fucked up things going on in his head, apparently, and it makes for some good reading. And
I'm sorry, I just had a thought when I said it would be a clone, and Jason said, "Fuck you." I'm gonna say, Jackal was all like, "Hey, I'm making all these Spider-Man clothes. I can use a Rick Jones. It's fine."
Why not?
Oh, why? Fucking Christ, dude. Jesus.
But they're gonna fucking reverse the majority of this shit.
I think there'll be some ramifications, because they always have to have some ramifications. This can't be a situation where it's like everybody forgot what happened, because I think if they play this right, there'll be some some stuff for Cap. It's like there'll be because there'll be some people like, how could you do this to us, and blah blah blah, and of course I've always said Cap will be the reason why they get everybody gets saved, but it's God bless. They better not try to kill him off again, because that would just be stupid.
They do it with Sharon Carter again. She's like, fuck this shit, man.
But this time she wanted to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, guys. Wait, real quick. I've got one last thought real quick. What if this whole thing with all these characters getting fucked up like this and shit, what if it's like fucking somebody having a bad dream? Like Thanos is going to wake up. Thanos is going to wake up after having been Squirrel Girl for like 5 years. Out of like a coma or some shit.
That might be the most retarded thing I've ever heard you fucking say.
and print it because Marvel will publish it. Yeah,
exactly.
But
he's just fucking. Exactly, he's just fucking tailoring that shit to Marvel's fucking mindset right now, man. Oh god.
We can't just straight retcon this, so we're just gonna do it this way, and that'll make the fans happy, right?
Lol memes.
So I'm gonna assume we're gonna push the villain discussion back for another episode.
Yeah.
I had too much fun with this shit, so I'm okay with that.
Fucking autists were like, yeah, we're gonna talk about this dumb shit for fucking over an hour.
Well, when you're talking about Marvel's canceled comics, you gotta talk about this shit because it goes hand in hand.
You're not wrong.
Straight up, if you think this is bad, if we actually did talk about Rob Liefeld this week, we'd be going into next week.
We'd still be here.
Yeah,
fucking
a week later, and I'm still, and nobody else has said anything. I'm the only one pontificating about how horrible Rob Liefeld is. And then we have example number 534. By this time, Jordan has killed himself, and
the rest of us are fucking starved to death.
Jordan's like, I'm out.
See, I'd just be still sitting here nodding my head like, yeah, yeah.
You already drawn eyeballs on your eyelids, so it looks like you're still awake. Yeah.
This is an audio podcast right there.
Fuck.
Go ahead, take us out, Jason.
Yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the absolute utter bullshit you've heard tonight. Or whenever the hell you've listened to this, I don't care. If you enjoyed it, don't put any money on us. We don't deserve it. We don't need it. Except for Daryl, who's still got to get that surgery.
Yeah.
He wants to become a beautiful woman.
Human.
No, but, will make him a beautiful woman.
I'm already a beautiful woman.
Any money you wanted to give us, send it to Chapo Trap House.
Spend it at your local comic book shop or give it to the Comic Book Legal Defense Fund.
Much more worthy. Yeah, much more worthy.
Yeah. That said, if you absolutely have to, there always is El Chapo Trap House.
Well, Jason, come on, man. After all that racist shit earlier, we're going to be hearing from Al Sharpton, so we might want a little bit of that money.
We need our own legal defense fund at this point.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, we hope you enjoyed yourself. We'll see you next time.